standard sizes? Since when does anything work with standard size? Everything's metric nowadays. When was this thing built? The 70s? I really never understood how an oilless air compressor worked, or a maintenance-free air compressor worked. I never could understand that there wouldn't be any maintenance on something. How do they keep there from being maintenance on something? Maintenance-free or oil-free basically means that there's no place to contain oil. This is kept cool just simply by being out in the open air. I don't even know what to say about it other than it's probably the worst idea I think anybody's ever come up with. This is like a piston in a car, and this is like the cylinder in the car. But in a car, there's oil to lubricate and cool and keep it clean. You keep your oil clean. You don't have problems like all the scoring on the inside of the cylinder. I don't know if you can see this or not. There's all kinds of marks on the inside of the cylinder. Hopefully you can see some of them. It's a horrible design. You would think that these two pieces would be inexpensive so that you could buy them, pop them in there, and basically rebuild your air compressor so it would function again. This won't build up to pressure. It won't even build up to 80 pounds of pressure anymore. There's so much air gap around this piston, it's just not going to work. I went online and I looked for the cheapest place I could find these two parts for this compressor. I found two places that sold these two parts, this rebuild kit for this compressor, and both of them were the same price at, I believe, $137 and some odd cents, plus shipping. Now I can buy another air compressor comparable to that one for about that same price, but it's going to have a new electric motor, new tanks. It's going to be all brand new. So I don't think I'm going to be rebuilding this compressor, nor will I buy another maintenance-free air compressor. A little bit of shopping around, and I find a super coupon in a Harbor Freight catalog for this air compressor. Max PSI is 135, 4.0 CFMs at 90 PSI, running horsepower is 1.6. It's got a bigger tank. It's got a 20-gallon tank versus that, I think it was 5-gallon tank on the last one I had. Might have been a 3-gallon, I forget. Either way, a lot bigger tank, bigger compressor for almost the same price as rebuilding the last one. So let's get this thing open and see what it looks like. I almost thought that I forgot to add the wheels in here, but if you look at the very bottom, they tape them in there underneath everything. seals put on here. I won't do a review on this right now as I just plugged it in and pressurized it for the first time. It's kind of pointless to do a review on it. But here's your on-off switch over here. Flip it all the way over here until it catches. It's off. Over here is on. You'd have a release valve right here to pull this, and it'll let the pressure out of your tank. This is tank pressure. This is airline pressure coming out of this coupler. Now I did switch out this coupler because there's one that comes on the machine, but it's not the type that I use for my air hose fittings. This right here adjusts your pressure going out of your hose. Tighten it up, pressure goes up, loosen it up, pressure bleeds off. You do have a little petcock down there to let the water or condensation out of your tank. They don't recommend you run an extension cord when you're running an electric motor like this. It pulls a lot of amperage through that extension cord, and there's a good chance of the extension cord itself catching on fire because of it. So I was gonna run it inside and have it running in there, but I don't wanna run the risk of having an electrical fire. So it'll sit right here. I'll build a couple more walls around it, put a little roof over it, have some airflow going through it, but still have it out of the snow and the rain. Eventually, at some point, I've got to get some other stuff done around here first. I wasn't going to get another air compressor after that little one died out. I didn't want to spend the money on a small compressor, but I can't plug in the compressor that I want to get. I would like to get a nice 60-gallon or 80-gallon upright two-stage 240 volt air compressor, but I don't have 240 on that temporary power pole, so I can't do it. It's kind of hard to live out here without an air compressor though. If a tire goes flat, you could have a bicycle pump, you know, sit there and pump a tire up on a car if you wanted, but it's not going to work so well, and it gets kind of tiring. So went ahead and got another air compressor, got it all hooked up. I'll get a little box built around it, keep it out of the elements as much as I can, but still let airflow around it. I'll put out a review on this air compressor, maybe give it a month or so, put out a little review on it, let you guys know how it's going. But until then, go make something.